do work that matters for people
more capable than its institutions. And I'm going to argue that our institutions are not capable enough, not by a long way. And my primary goal this morning is to give you the tools, the thinking, a plan that will allow you to build an organization that can outrun change, outcompete its rivals, and outperform expectations.
Diciamo che l'audio deve essere l'audio è la sorpresa è il volume.
And that's really hard because I'm curious culturally, how many of you were raised to believe, raise your hand, how many of you were raised to believe that vulnerability is weakness? That you don't show it? Okay, let me give you the definition of vulnerability.
Personal. It feels like it's about me. Whereas for other people, they relish critical feedback. And you probably have some people, you might be one of these people, or have these people on your team who are constantly asking you for critical feedback. How can I get better? How can I improve? Because they believe that the way in which they improve, you're helping them improve, will help them get ahead.
Down the roster of speakers who are speaking here today and tomorrow, you went, she's famous, he's really famous, she's amazing, I don't want to miss her. Who's that guy? So what I'm going to do in the time I have with you is just tell you about my famous friends in an effort to try and make you feel that I'm more important than I really am.
Technologies are converging, they're coming together. 3 or 4 of these are coming together, and they're not just changing businesses and markets, they're changing business models. And as an investor and an entrepreneur, for me, the most exciting future is creating new business models. How we serve our customers in new ways, how we serve our citizens, our families in new ways.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep. I used to feel so empty, but now I feel joy and mild concern how a pea stain got on the ceiling.
Milano. And we had stagflation, inflation and recession, a concept that, unless you're old enough like me, you didn't remember. And that was inflation and recession was caused by 2 geopolitical shocks. One, the 1973 Yom Kippur War between Israel and Arab states that led to an oil embargo, tripling of oil prices, inflation and recession. And then in 1979, the Islamic Iranian Revolution that led to another shock to oil prices and again recession and inflation. And these are firms that did not exist 50 years ago. So it starts in 1975. There are firms that went from scratch, startups, to today having a market cap of at least $10 billion. Those in green are high tech, and those that are not green in blue are instead other sectors of the economy.
You figure out what is the map. And let me say this comparison, US and European Union, my, let me say, emotional and intellectual reaction is that we cannot say just simply mind the gap. There is a gap. Mind the gap is not enough. You have to feel it.
Grande stimolazione. In questo modo ho salvato qualche centinaia di migliaia di neuroni in questi giorni per prepararmi a discutere con voi. Tutto questo ha fatto bene. E volevo ringraziare anche Rodini, lo speaker precedente, ci ha veramente illuminato sul quadro economico internazionale, ha citato Milano come un grande centro con attività diverse, diversificate. Io voglio ricordare che Milano è anche la città della scienza.
But I had some problems. I was afraid of heights, and I also was very inflexible. I couldn't even touch my toes without bending my knees. So I worked as hard as I could to overcome my limitations. I spent a whole year trying to improve as a diver. And here is what I looked like at the end of my first year. This is me diving at age 14. Oh, that's such a good question, Maria. I think The place that I would start on that is you have to find the culture carriers in your organization. Culture carriers are people who basically model the values and norms for everyone else. And what I found in studying this is senior leaders have no idea who the culture carriers are at junior levels. So how do you find them? Start asking people below you. If I could only meet one person in our company.
The Clooney Foundation for Justice provides free legal support to victims of human rights abuses all over the world. We now operate in over 40 countries, and our aim is always the same, to provide legal aid in defense of freedom of speech and women's rights.
We believe in a world where human rights are valued. You know, you can't just say, okay, well, we're going to put you on the Justice Index and that's going to make you feel bad and you'll change your way.
And now, welcome to Italy. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honour. Wonderful to see some of the work there. I think that gives a really nice introduction to the important, vital work that you and your husband are both doing.
Well, first of all, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm always happy for any excuse to come to Italy. It's a place I love. It's a place where I met my husband, where I got married, where my children took their first steps. And so I'm always delighted to be back, and I love Italians and Italian culture, and I think we all have a lot to learn from the way that people live and choose to live.
Federica Pellegrini.
Eleganza che taglia l'acqua, potenza che sfida il tempo. L'eredità di Federica Pellegrini va oltre i titoli.
Intanto che ti isola dal resto del mondo, è un elemento che devi imparare a gestire, a conoscere, perché comunque noi effettivamente passiamo i nostri primi 9 mesi in questo elemento incredibile, però poi di fatto siamo esseri terreni. E imparare a convivere con questo elemento è difficile, è incredibilmente difficile impararlo a gestire, però poi è incredibile viverci, perché comunque poi io nasco comunque come una ragazza introspettiva. The world of the conductor, la direttrice, l'orchestra, the world of the orchestra, and I hope that you can make the parallels for your businesses, for your companies, of how this would work in your own orchestras. So, in a matter of seconds, we just performed a little bit of Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings. In a matter of seconds, you immediately see every single possibility